Alright, so here's my tutorial on how to make a magnifying glass all with CSS. So first, all we're going to have is an empty div with the ID of magnifying glass that we created, and our first CSS selector, just selecting that div. Now we're going to be sizing everything using EMs, which is based off of font size. So first we're going to set a font size of 10 EM, which will make everything a lot much easier to size. So first we're going to make a box that we're going to turn into a circle. The way the shape's going to be, there's going to be a circle and then a handle coming off of it. So we'll set a width of 0.4 EMs and a height of also 0.4 EMs since it's going to be a square first. We're going to set the position to relative, since we're going to be moving the handle around near it, and then we can set the color for it. We're going to use the border attribute. We'll set 0.1 EM, and then we'll make it red. So now we've got the square there. The 1 EM border, that's the thickness of it. So the height and width is 4 EM, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's the border. Now we're going to turn the square into a circle using the border radius rule. The way the border radius rule works is based off of percentages of making the corners rounded. So if we do a border radius of 0.1 EM, the corners are slightly rounded. We can do 0.2 EMs, and it's even more rounded. But if you do anything higher than 0.4, which is the height and width, then it stays a circle. So you could go all the way up to 50 EMs and nothing changes. We'll leave it at 0.4 just so it stays close to the value of the height and width. So now we're going to create the handle of the magnifying glass. We could do this using a second div and selecting that, but to minimize how much HTML we're writing, we'll use a pseudo selector of before, which adds additional content before the div. So we'll go magnifying glass : before. Now the pseudo selector, it does require content to show up. We could put in some text, but since we're obviously not adding text, we still will need to have this there, but we'll leave it as an empty string. We're going to be first creating a small rectangle and then repositioning it and rotating it so that it creates the handle for the magnifying glass. So to do that, we'll have to use position absolute semicolon. So now we're going to make the rectangle. So we'll set a height of 0.35 EM and a width of 0.08 EMs. Now we can set the background. We'll set it to blue just so we can see the rectangle. Now, once we're finished, we'll change it over back to the red. Let's go 0.35. Make it a little bit longer. So now that we've got that, all we need to do is reposition it. So now we'll set the right to a negative value of 0.25 EMs, which moves that over. We'll go bottom of negative 0.1 EM. Oops, didn't select negative. Negative. And now all we need to do is rotate it. So we'll use transform, rotate 45 degrees. Let me check. Oh, I mixed up the. I accidentally reversed the height and width. There we go. So now we've got that. It's all perfectly in place. And then we rotated it. So before the rotation, it was horizontal like that, and then we simply rotated it 90 degrees. Now all we need to do is just change the color back to red to match the other one. And there you have the magnifying glass.